What's up, party people? It is CourtC from Anywhere USA, coming to a city near you. You'll have to excuse my appearance for those who are visiting and viewing this recording, as I am in the process of doing my hair and have called it a night for the night. Anyway, figured we could have a smoke and talk because there seems to be there seems to be a lot going on in the world right now. And we're in the middle of the election, and the candidates are doing speeches and debates. Some of it's a little unhinged. I personally not really into politics at all, but I can't say I haven't found all the antics to be extremely amusing. On the other hand, it's also a bit embarrassing because it's like there are places all over the world that are literally laughing at us. And if you guys use TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, you see we're basically laughing at ourselves and these things go viral. So you can imagine just how many people are laughing at us as well. Wow. Well, moving forward, I feel like we've got a lot of distractions going on because lately everybody's been talking about Diddy and his parties, all the victims who are coming forward, or the people who the signs were right there in plain sight, and everybody ignored the signs, and now I'm seeing posts like, "Hey, we owe such and such an apology, and such," and that's really fucked up. That's sad. Honestly, it is. But this has been going on forever. Multiple people. He's just the one being exposed for it at the moment. The same way a lot of people believe, as well as myself, that Epstein didn't kill himself. He's ready to drop his list, and, well, now he can't do it no more. Moving additionally forward, my Twitter feed has been filled about Cardi B and Offset and whether or not she was cheating while pregnant. Are they getting divorced? Okay, whatever. They make entirely too much money to care about what the public thinks about their relationship. They're going to do what they want, regardless of whether people like it, love it, support it, hate it. It doesn't change the fact that the music is still going to be fire. And regardless of whose album it is, if that song's a banger, you're going to play it. You're going to put it on your social media, behind your reels and your pictures. Their life choices doesn't affect your ability to just chill out and enjoy the music. So I think it's kind of weird. I think I've said this before. I think it's kind of weird how people get overly invested into celebrity lives, because these people don't know you. They're never going to know you. 9 times out of 10, you might be one of those lucky folk out there who maybe they do get to know you. And I don't just mean like meet and greet, snap a picture. I mean, like, are you ever going to be friends? Are you guys going to be like chilling? Some people might, most people won't. So I'd be so invested into what they do with their personal time. You tell everybody every day to mind their business when it comes to your business, but you don't mind minding other people's business. I feel like that's a bit of hypocrisy. And I mean, I can even say it's a bit of hypocrisy for me because when people have their dramas on Facebook and certain shit's trending, I'd be all in it, reading the comments. Now, I don't have an opinion on it. I don't really have a point of view to share about whatever it is, but I'm definitely creeping through the comments and getting a kick out of it. Because, I mean, if you put it out there, then, you know, you clearly want it somebody to see it. Hold on, let me hit the spot. But anyway, all of this is, trending and shit, and Melania with her book, and apparently the DMC is consistent concerts and shit, which is pretty cool. If that would have been like that growing up, I might have actually taken an interest in it. Because at least, I don't know, it seems a little bit fun over there right now. Big, big, big switch from senior citizens and elderly folk quietly arguing with each other. It's I don't know, it's like trying to watch somebody read the dictionary in a very monotone voice and keep you awake the entire time, as opposed to remember what they said. That's what it was like watching that type of shit for me growing up. It was just like I'll be asleep. I'm might as well just put it on so I can fall asleep. But anyway, all of this is going on. We're distracted with P Diddy and uh, Cardi and her shit. But meanwhile, there's a big chance that we could be going into World War Three. World War Three, nuclear shit, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck what the celebrities is doing right now. Is we going to war or not? Is there a plan to protect the people, the civilians? Probably not. The rich and people who are protected will go underground to their bunkers. Probably got some shit set up. Some people's probably already there. A lot of people are probably already there considering the size of some of these facilities. And, you need people to run it. Of course, they're not going to do it themselves. Can't even be mad at that, though, because the people who are lucky enough to work there are protected, too. If you think about it that way. It's like, I'd rather be a glorified servant in a bunker than be a struggling civilian with radiation sickness. But it really could come down to that. And as you guys know, I'm from Pittsburgh. We are but 6 hours away from NYC. So if something were to go off there, it would probably wipe us the fuck out too. You know what I mean? So we have a reason to be scared because most of the important places also are really close to a lot of civilians like me, like a lot of people. And we're like, well, what do we do? Is there something set up for the people? But nobody's asking those questions. And Putin doesn't want anybody to help the Ukraine people and whatnot. NATO is talking about going to war, which means the U.S. is going to war if Putin decides to go to war. And honestly, I don't see nuclear war being any way, shape, form positive. Because if you think about it, let me put this out. If you think about it, whatever the weather conditions are, and I'll get to the weather in a minute, whatever those conditions are, when the cloud goes up, when the radiation spreads, it's going to carry on the wind. It might not be as lethal as the main place, like ground zero or whatever it's called, when, you know, the main hot zone. But it's going to carry a lot of people are going to get sick if it's really close to your area. There's going to be a lot of contamination, depending on the size of these bombs, depending on the size of the place that they're hitting. That's scary as hell. Being I don't even see why that would even be an option in this world, especially seeing how overpopulated we are. Excuse me. And it just doesn't seem very wise to basically almost destroy yourself because then they won't have anybody to trade with. They won't have certain resources. Everything will be lost and contaminated. So even if they did want to get something, they don't have access to any of those things. The money all fucked up because everybody gone. People are starving, dying, sick. And the few places that did manage to not get caught up in that will be very much staying the fuck away from everybody else. The water will be contaminated, food will be contaminated, the economy is dead, everything is dead. Why would you do that? That's just not very smart. And the fact that people even keep things like this is disturbing. I watched a documentary about the creation of these things, and I always thought to myself, you knew how destructive it was. You knew, you know, what it could do. At some point, you started testing these things in places that fucked up the environment and realized the total destruction it could cause. Got your own soldiers sick just so they could see what happens. And you still think making them bigger and faster is a smart idea? Why would you do that? And all in all, we should be worrying about things like this, our own safety. Because, yeah, it's a shame these things are going on in the Middle East and whatnot. But sooner than later, it could be coming to our home base. You know what I mean? And we're over here wondering about some celebrity who likes to do it in the butt, somebody who's clearly having relationship problems at the moment, and whatever other bullshit we can conjure up. Oh, you know what? Don't worry about all of that. Check out this sealed record of aliens. Come on, bro. At this point, I don't think the aliens even want to talk to us. Now, keeping in mind when I mentioned the weather and how that type of war could affect everybody and even backlash the offender. People are facing massive hurricanes right now. There's like big ass size hurricane. I think it's Helena or however you pronounce it. Big ass hurricane. Total destruction in a lot of areas. Flooding. I've been seeing videos of people's houses like feet in water. Water coming in through people's windows. Total destruction. These are coming up, and I was watching the news, some out of town news the other day, and there's more supposed to be coming, all within these next couple months. This is taking out power. This is taking out homes. This is causing all type of damage. Now imagine hurricanes with these magnitudes, these sizes, and radiation and all of that in the air being carried across the ocean. Come on. There's no positive way that'll go because you can't control the wind. You can't control which direction the cloud is going to spread after it spreads. Yeah, you'll hit your main target, but you mess around, hit yourself in the process. And again, that doesn't sound very smart. Those are things that I think about when I'm just sitting here smoking. I'm like, there's people losing their houses in Florida and all up that Gulf. Terrible, catastrophic, just shit happening. There was a lot of forest fires hitting quite a few places, especially California, as per usual. You didn't see too much on the news about that. They mentioned it, but, you know, after it was mentioned, it wasn't really talked about. I believe one of the areas was near San Bernardino. I don't know, you'd have to check, but they didn't really talk about it that much because we were having fun with the debate people, making memes and music and all type of bullshit dances and shit. Meanwhile, at a college, a group of racist people held down a black kid and carved a racial slur into his chest with what I believe was a box cutter. Now, the kid who was assaulted left the school, but as the investigation was going on, it was said that the kids who participated in this were still in the school. It wasn't until it sparked public outrage that I started seeing just a few news segments on it, but again, that's not really talked about. There's even been more going on all over the place. Mayors corrupt up in New York. They said they're not surprised. Trump's antics. made him lose a significant amount of money in stocks. I didn't even know anybody really used his social app or whatever. I thought that was just like a thought maybe. He had his own little thing since getting kicked off of Twitter. Maybe it like was a cross post or something, but apparently he's got his own little network going on. I'm not curious enough to check it out myself, but if any of you guys happen to be a member of that, feel free to send in some screenshots in the Anywhere USA group. The link will be posted under the video. It's also posted in the pinned announcements. So there's that. But I don't know, guys. That was just my smoke and think. In conclusion, I feel like a lot of what's going on is a distraction from the actual issues in politics, the fact that we could possibly be going to war, and not taking note of the direct violence in neighborhoods and natural disasters causing the loss of homes and probably millions or billions of dollars in property, businesses. People are losing everything. And more storms are coming. We don't have a lot of people talking about that very frequently on some of the world news channels. You see a lot about, Ukraine and whatnot. You sometimes, it goes between that depending on what channel you're watching. It could be a lot about the war, or it could be a lot about the presidential candidates, and, whatever they're saying at their speeches, how many people were there. You know, it's like the same shit over and over. And then you've got your gossip channels that just basically, excuse me, just basically are talking about shit that really doesn't matter. I mean, in a sense, it does, but is it more important than what's going on? Is it more important than things that are like directly affecting you? Yeah, of course, some of the things that are happening with them, like for instance, Diddy and his victims, that's important, but it doesn't need to be the only focus of media when we need to know what we should be doing as civilians to prepare for what could or could not be coming. Or we're going to end up like the folks, those poor civilians we see on TV, confused, panicked, trying to figure out where to go at the end of the day. Like, you know, we need to know more about the world news, who the Congress is, and things that directly affect us as a community. So I don't want to really get too distracted with celebrity news and memes and bullshit because it's funny, sure. Some of like the memes and shit or the skits and whatnot, little dances, but it's not really what we need to hear about. Then you have little Diddy shit that's fucked up, but it doesn't need to take up all of the news segment, everything that I scroll through. You know what I mean? Like we need to focus on something else. But something else, it's party. That's definitely not really important to any of our personal lives and well being. We gotta get it together and start focusing on the shit that really matters before it's too late. And with that, I say good night, party people.